Palm Sunday the 29th of March 1461, these fields bore witness to the bloodiest day in English history. A place where snow fell red, where men fought not for honour but for survival, where no quarter was given and mercy was a forgotten word. This was no ordinary clash in the Wars of the Roses, but a struggle for the crown itself, the House of York, led in person by Edward, Duke of York, against the House of Lancaster, commanded on the field by Henry Beaufort, Duke of Somerset, and Henry Percy, Earl of Northumberland, among their leaders. Only the day before Towton, at Ferrybridge, the fiery Lord Clifford had been slain, his death leaving the Lancastrians burning for vengeance. For decades, England had been torn apart by civil war. The Lancastrians defended the throne of their king, Henry VI, a man often broken by bouts of madness, while his queen, Margaret of Anjou, fought fiercely to secure the inheritance for their son, Edward of Westminster. The Yorkists claimed Henry was unfit to rule, pressing the cause of Edward of York. He was a strong, ambitious man, determined to take the crown by force. And by spring 1461, the future of the realm would be decided here, in the snows of Yorkshire and at Towton. Somewhere between 40 and 75,000 men gathered on these meadows. Chroniclers claimed 75, though modern historians believe it's closer to 40. And yet, it still remains one of the largest armies ever assembled on English soil. And those soldiers knew what awaited them. No prisoners, no mercy, a battle of extermination. The Tudor chronicler Edward Hall wrote in the union of the two noble and illustrious families of Lancaster and York in 1548 captured the dreadful mood. They must either vanquish or die, for no hope of life remained if they yielded. The armies clashed at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they fought until 4 in the afternoon. 7 hours of relentless slaughter. John de Varin, a Burgundian chronicler, writing in his Recueil des Chronicles in 1470, recalled, "They fought from 9 of the clock in the morning until 4 of the afternoon, without either party receding a foot, but continuing in moral strife." Arrow storms darkened the sky, steel rang against steel, and the ground beneath their feet became a mire of mud and blood. This location at Towton will forever be known as Bloody Meadow. Edward Hall described the horror in 1548. In this battle was so great a fusion of blood that standing upon the field a man might fill his shoe with blood without any vessel. At last the Lancastrian line broke, thousands fleeing north towards Beck, the wooden bridge eventually collapsing under the sheer weight of men, armour and horses. Paul recorded, "So great was the multitude that fell into the water that the course of the river was stopped, and it ran all bloody for several miles." The anonymous Greg's chronicler in 1475 also added, "So many fell that the water was dyed with blood, and the dead lay so thick that men might pass over without wetting their feet. The river itself became a tomb." No mercy was given to the fallen or the routed. Polydore Virgil, in his Angelica Historia, 1512, wrote, "The soldiers gave no quarter, and spared none, though they cried for mercy. Prisoners were cut down where they stood." The Lancastrian soldiers were gathered, stripped naked and left to suffer in the snow, before having ears and noses cut off to inflict as much pain and suffering as possible before being butchered with halberds, swords, cleaved with battle hammers and axes. when silence finally fell, between 28 and 38,000 men lay dead and suffering. The wounded were abandoned in the snow. The villagers of Yorkshire left with the grim task of burying the nameless. Whole families, whole communities were all erased in a single day, and for generations the site at Towton was remembered by a darker name: Palm Sunday Field. Just a mile from the battlefield stands Saxton Church. Its Norman stones were already centuries old by 1461, yet after Towton they became a monument to the dead. The fields around Saxton Church became mass graves. Thousands were buried in pits without marker, and the headstones we see today only tell part of the story. For every name preserved in stone here, dozens more lie forgotten beneath the soil. Inside, the air feels heavy. The walls are thick with centuries of grief. Some of the noble dead were buried here, and their effigies and slabs are still visible in the floor. Among them, Sir William Bonville, a Yorkist noble who was executed after the Battle of St Albans and was reburied here. There's also the grave of Sir Richard Percy, a Lancastrian who fell at Towton. But the common soldier, stripped, nameless and forgotten, was thrown into the earth outside without rite or prayer. In 1996, archaeologists uncovered a mass grave near Town Hall, the manor that overlooks Bloody Meadow. There they found skeletons that bore witness to savage wounds, skulls shattered, faces split by swords, arrows driven deep into bone. One man carried more than 30 separate injuries, which is proof of the frenzy that consumed Palm Sunday in 1461. Even as thousands perished outside, Palm Sunday Mass would have still been read from Scripture. I have trodden the winepress alone, their blood is sprinkled upon my garments, and I have stained all my raiment. For those who survived Towton, it must have seemed like divine wrath was unleashed upon England. As one preacher declared in the aftermath, England drank her own blood that day for the sins of her princes. Towton secured the crown for Edward IV, and it broke Lancastrian power in the north. But it scarred the soul of England. Tens of thousands of sons, fathers, brothers, lords, and common men laying nameless beneath the fields and stones here at Towton. Today the meadows are silent, the church is still. But listen long enough and you may hear the echo of Palm Sunday 1461, when the snow turned red, rivers ran red with blood, and the kingdom of England was bought at the price of its own people. As I stand here and walk the fields of Towton, it stirs different feelings that are kind of beyond words for me. This ground was once drowned in violence and suffering. It holds a silence heavy with memory. It is hard to understand why so few know of this place, why it's not taught, and why its story has faded from the nation's mind. So much of our heritage is slipping away. Our faith, our tradition, and even our flag are now questioned. And yet for some of us, Towton still remains. For those of us who walk these meadows with reverence, the weight of history simply cannot be erased. The battlefield shaped the crown, the fate of Yorkshire, and the course of England itself. May this remembrance video be an honour to every man who fought and fell here, sons, fathers, brothers, and lords, nameless in the earth, but not lost to those of us who care about Towton, the battle, and its people.